What's up, everybody, and welcome into this Flippin' Bats pregame show presented by Perry Ellis Fragrances. It is Game 3 of the World Series, and I promise it is going to happen. The crowd here is awesome. The people are here. There's no rain. It's a beautiful night, and things are about to get underway. We are out here in the crowd. The atmosphere is already incredible, and we are just a few minutes away from Game 3 getting underway, Alex.
We are, and you can tell that these fans are just eager and have so much energy because they were here last night ready for a game to happen that ended up getting rained out. So you know these fans are going to be coming out extra aggressively passionate, which is what I like to call Philly fans here tonight. But this also, it moves the schedule moving forward for the rest of the World Series.
Yes, and this is important. We talked about it a little bit last night after the rain out, but the schedule is completely changed now. Game 3, obviously about to start. Game 4, Wednesday. Game 5, Thursday. They are keeping the travel day in place. So Friday will be a travel day. Game 6 on Saturday and Game 7 on Sunday if necessary. Now, that does play a big component in the rest of this series and how it plays out. And what it does, in my opinion, in a nutshell, is narrow the gap between the Astros and the Phillies pitching depth. No surprise, the Phillies don't have the depth when it comes to the pitching of the Astros. This just narrows that because now Ranger Suarez is starting tonight in Game 3 instead of Noah Syndergaard and a bullpen game. And then Aaron Nola is bumped up as well. Zach Wheeler stays in Game 6. But right here, right now, Ranger Suarez in Game 3 instead of Noah Syndergaard. And that's a big plus for the Phillies.
That's a really big deal for the Phillies, considering it was most likely going to be somewhat of a bullpen game for them. After their bullpen got completely taxed in Houston, you know that they're going to be used a lot throughout this series. So to be able to give them an extra day of rest and hopefully not a lot of use tonight because you hope Suarez can go deep.
That's the hope for them.
That's what you hope for. So we talked about this a little bit last night. Who does this rain delay help? And it helps the Phillies, as you said, because of the pitching. And we're seeing that here in Game 3 right away.
Definitely the Phillies more because they can move up their guys, and a big beneficial thing for their bullpen as well because bullpen game not so much in Game 3 as opposed to now probably Game 5, and they can rest their relievers on that travel day. So this definitely benefits the Phillies, but not the huge advantage that I think it is for people because Noah Syndergaard's still going to have to pitch. They're still going to have a bullpen game when the Astros are not going to have to. So it just bumps it back a little bit. It is advantage Phillies, but not as big as I think everybody's thinking.
I can see that. Now, we were down on the field before the game started during batting practice. It was wild down there, guys. It was like shoulder to shoulder with all the different networks, players. It was just grab and go. But another cool thing we saw is there were 3 guys receiving their gold gloves this afternoon.
How cool is it for these guys? One, it kind of caught me off guard that the gold gloves were getting announced today. Then all of a sudden I hear Jeremy Pena, JT Realmuto, and Kyle Tucker all receiving Gold Glove awards. Jeremy Pena, the first rookie shortstop in history to win a Gold Glove award. So really special for him. We were down there next to him on the field. Everybody giving him congratulations, saying how happy they were for him, and what a year for him. You know, you look at this year for Jeremy Pena already. Just think about it for a second. Takes over the position with Carlos Correa, the superstar shortstop, out the door. He takes over. He starts the year great, ends up having a great year, ALCS MVP, now a Gold Glove award. Now he's playing in the World Series, potential World Series champion. I mean, what a year for him. So congrats to Jeremy Pena on winning the Gold Glove award. One, I think that speaks volumes to the year that Julio Rodriguez had if Jeremy Pena won't even win the Rookie of the Year after all of this. But I've talked about him plenty. Kyle Tucker, great year in the outfield, throws out so many guys. And, of course, I said it here the other day, JT Realmuto is the best catcher in the game of baseball, and I think that gap is pretty wide. And he was honored tonight with another Gold Glove award. So good for him, and congratulations to those guys on their new hardware.
New hardware. So awesome. And all 3 of these guys are going to be really big factors for their teams the rest of this World Series. So let's dive into the keys for tonight, starting with the Astros. What are your keys for the Astros to pick up a win here?
So for me, with the Astros, it starts with the pitching. And in winning baseball games in the playoffs starts and ends with pitching. For me, Lance McCullers has to throw that curveball for a strike. That's his pitch. Those off-speed pitches, curveball, slider. And when I was talking to John Smoltz the other day, he said Lance McCullers once told him he could go out on the mound and throw his curveball for a strike without throwing it one time in the bullpen. That's how good a feel he has for it. Now, this is the World Series.
Yeah.
Feel comes a little differently because of your nerves and your emotions. So Lance McCullers tonight, look for that early. If Lance McCullers is throwing that curveball for a strike early, it could be a long night for Phillies batters. If not, could be beneficial for the Phillies. But my first key is definitely Lance throwing strikes with that curveball.
All right. My key for the Astros is I think they need to get to Ranger Suarez early. They have jumped out to an early lead in the first 2 games. And if they can do that here, they can maybe take Suarez out of the game and silence these Phillies fans that we have seen are a huge factor in helping this Phillies team throughout the entire game. I think that's going to really help the Astros.
I like that, Alex. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar. If yours happens, mine might happen.
Okay, let's go.
Which is get to the Phillies bullpen early. The big bonus for the Astros was having Game 3 and Noah Syndergaard starting, and you knew it was going to be a bullpen game. No. The rain out delayed that. Now it's Game 3 with Ranger Suarez. You got to get to him early, get to that bullpen. He pitched earlier in this series, meaning he's out of his normal routine.
Yeah.
Throwing pitches in the World Series, despite normally throwing a midweek bullpen, is still a lot. And as usual, I caught up with John Smoltz, and we'll talk to him in just a few minutes, but I talked to him about that and what it feels like to, you're on your normal rest, but you threw pitches in the World Series. That's a bigger deal than people are thinking about. So keep an eye out on him. Is Ranger Suarez going to be as good as he was throughout the regular season? We will see. But if the Astros can get to the bullpen and get to him, then that benefit that they had in Game 3 will be right back, which was get to that bullpen, tax that bullpen early on in this 3 days in a row stretch.
All right, now let's switch over to the Phillies. What do they got to do to pick up this game? Game 3, their first home game of the World Series.
Yeah, a couple of things in my opinion.
Okay.
First and foremost, Ranger Suarez being Ranger Suarez. What we saw throughout the entire regular season, we hear Phillies, we think Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez was really good this year, and he is a good number 3. Now they've used him a little bit differently in this series. How will he be tonight in his World Series starting debut this year? We will see. I think it's really important for Ranger Suarez to go deep into the game. I know that's cliche, but for more reasons than that, the Phillies bullpen isn't deep by any means. Of anything, that's their biggest weakness. You need Suarez to go deep, get you at least 5 innings. Anything under that is going to tax that bullpen.
Not only go deep, I think he needs to silence the Astros bats early, because as I mentioned, as the Astros key, they have been swinging the bat early. They've been putting on the runs on the board early, and it has really helped them get out to that early lead. So it might kind of go both ways. It's either the bats are going to take care of Suarez or Suarez needs to completely silence the bat. But whichever one takes it, I think is going to be the key to the game.
I absolutely agree with you. And that is baseball.
Yeah.
And, it might sound cliche, but it is true.
What it is.
For me, on the offensive side for the Phillies, you have to get Lance's curveball up in the zone. Lance McCullers, curveball pitcher. He can throw that thing whenever he wants, but if you're swinging at all of them, you're just adding to his nasty stuff. Now, what I mean by get the curveball up, how do you do that? Because you can't force him to get it up. You can't. Those pitches that he gets swing and miss stuff on all the time, that curveball down, that curveball darting out of the zone, if you're taking that pitch, it gives him no other option than to throw it in the zone, up in the zone. Those are the ones you can do damage to. But if you're swinging at the other ones, then it's going to be a long, long night. So Lance McCullers, get that curveball up, and you can do damage to those.
Okay, I know we touched on the Astros lineup and just being on fire as of late, but they have one guy, Jose Altuve, who has just finally kicked it into a different gear here in the World Series. Can he be contained at this point?
Yes. I think it'd be unfair to say no because we've seen him be contained throughout the first couple of series. Now, with that said, he is on fire.
Yeah.
And when Jose Altuve gets on fire, it's going to be a long night for the opponent. The first 5 games, right? First 5 games this postseason, Jose Altuve 0 for 23. Think about that. 0 for 23 for a guy that hit 300 this year. He's been arguably the best second baseman in baseball for a decade. The better part of half a decade at least. Last 4 games, 7 for 18, 3 runs scored, and only 4 strikeouts compared to 8 in the first 5 games. So Jose Altuve is back to being that guy that is the catalyst for this Houston Astros offense. And what was cool about this is in my conversation with John Smoltz earlier, that was one of the questions I asked him was just how important Jose Altuve is to the Astros lineup. They have plenty of superstars, but Jose Altuve just feels different and means a little bit more to that lineup, I thought. So I was able to talk to John Smoltz about that. So Alex and I are here, pre-game show. We're going to be all around talking to fans, bringing them on the show as we have been all World Series long. But while we go get ready to do that and get ready to talk to some fans, let's check out that conversation with John Smoltz that I had earlier today. All right, I am here again today with John Smoltz for our daily conversation. John, Game 3 will be happening today. It didn't happen yesterday. First, I want to talk to you about the impact of that. It does make a difference for pitchers, moving them all around. What is your opinion on this? Obviously, Ranger Suarez now starting tonight instead of Noah Syndergaard. Is this big advantage, Phillies, any advantage at all throughout the series?
I think it closes the gap of the advantage that Houston had over them and the depth of their pitching, and I think it gives Philly a little more confidence that they don't have to be so consumed with a total bullpen day. They're still going to have to use a lot of bullpen pieces, whereas Houston has a lot more assets. So it does close the gap, and it makes it a little more level than what typically would have happened if there were 3 in a row without that off day. The decision's a lot easier for Philadelphia. They go more normal kind of starters the next 2 games. They may sprinkle in Syndergaard if they need them. They may not. So they have options now that they didn't have before the day off.
So now Game 5, as it's set, it could always change. Noah Syndergaard is set to start that day if he doesn't throw in these days. So from my perspective, they're just pushing that day back. They're going to have a bullpen day at some point because they're not bumping Wheeler up.
Right.
So I think this is a big benefit for Phillies in the bullpen as well, because today was supposed to be the bullpen day. They were going to throw all of their guys with 2 days following. Now the bullpen day is going to come 1 day before the off day. So I think this is benefit Phillies, obviously, for these first 2 games, but a big benefit for the bullpen as well. Is that crazy?
No, it's accurate. I think the mindset of Syndergaard stinks a little bit. If you're him, you're like ready to pitch, and then all of a sudden now you don't know when you're going to pitch, and that can fluctuate a pitcher from here or there. Be interesting to see how Suarez bounces back. Even though it was a short out of the bullpen type routine, it's out of the routine. And starters are creatures of habits. He seems to be a cool cat under the pressure, so it may not bother him at all. But I'd be interested to see how his RPMs are early on, because when you start a World Series game, that's totally different than a postseason game. It's going to be a little bit more adrenaline, and if that flattens out his pitches, that's what I'm looking for early on, to see if he's got that touch early. If he does, that means his heart beats right.
I feel like this is something we've seen more in recent years, but Suarez starting tonight after pitching out of relief earlier in the series. Did you ever do that? Did you ever have a start and pitch on your bullpen day, if you will?
I did it later in my career. My arm was about ready to fall off. It was right before Tommy John. I pitched, got a save because John Rocker had to come in early. I got a save in Game 2, started Game 4, went 8 innings, tweaked my elbow, and then came in relief in Game 6. The dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I gave up 4 runs, a 3-run homer. I had nothing. I pitched on stupid guts, which we all do at time from time, and then of course I pitched in the World Series and then had Tommy John. It's not as easy as people think. It can be done, but I think the mistake a lot of organizations make is they never do it in the regular season and then all of a sudden throw it in the postseason as if it's no big deal, and it has backfired on a lot of teams at the most important time of the year.
I always remember Justin saying a pitch in the playoffs is like 2 pitches during, 2 pitches in the playoffs is like, it's amplified in the postseason. So I think people assume, okay, Ranger Suarez is pitching on his bullpen day, but how much of a difference is it taking those pitches in the most high-leverage situations that you could possibly be in?
It's the easiest thing to say. It has no bearing whatsoever. It's not a bullpen day. But it's easy to say because it would be your bullpen day. But you never throw a bullpen game like a game you go in to pitch 2 hitters. You're revved up more. The engines are going. Even if it's only 2 or 3 hitters, it's still a little bit more effort than a regular bullpen day. So I don't buy it always, but at this time of the year, you use your assets the way you can. You hope it works. But I've seen a lot of injuries come out of it. I've seen other teams abuse guys because their weapons are really good, and I've seen that have a carryover effect. I'm not saying that's happening to Suarez. He's not a max effort guy. But max effort guys are the ones you have to watch because they're coming in, unloading the tank, and then they do that again as they start.
Does this change the Astros' approach at all, you think, tonight? Are we expecting what they did to Zach Wheeler? Are we expecting them to work the count a little bit? What do you expect to see from the Astros lineup?
I think they know that this game has a chance to be more of a bullpen game. So you try to get the lead early and change the bullpen formula. In this day and age, there's a winning bullpen formula and there's a behind bullpen formula, and you want the behind bullpen formula if you're Houston. And I think they're going to try to single out certain pitches that Suarez does and see where he's at. And I think that's normal because if you got a young pitcher, you want to see where he's at before you maybe can be more prototypical with a veteran that knows he's going to come in with heaters.
Yeah. Speaking of the Astros lineup, Jose Altuve at the top of the lineup, started the playoffs 0 for 25, something along those lines, has heated up of late. From your perspective, a lineup that's full of studs and superstars, how important is Jose Altuve to the Astros?
To me,
lineup?
He's the most important because he can create so much havoc on the bases. He definitely can hit for power, hit for average. He makes the Astros go. And when he gets on, there is a different trickle-down effect in the lineup. It affects the way the pitchers face the hitters that are at the plate when he's on base. And so I think there's no more important person in the lineup that when Altuve gets on base, it makes the Houston Astros that much more difficult to defend.
Last one for you, John. You look back at your entire career. What do you consider your best outing on the mound?
My best outing would be one that nobody even would think it would be my best outing. I had absolutely nothing in Game 5 against the Yankees. I mean, nothing. There is no pitch I felt comfortable with. I kind of grinded my way through a 1-0 loss, I think 140 pitches. I was completely done after the first inning. To me as a pitcher, and I know everyone else who's ever pitched, you get more out of those games than when you feel great and you just dominate. Those games are far and few between, but when you have absolutely nothing and you're willing your way to get things done, that's the game I'll remember. Even though I lost 1-0, it was a game I had no business going 8 innings.
1-0. I don't think the loss is on you there if you're losing 1-0. What year was that?
96. We lost. We were up 2-0 against the Yankees. Wait, I'm going to black out. I'm going to black out. No, I've let it go.
John, thank you as always. Really appreciate it, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
You got it.
All right, we have found some fans, and boy, have we found some good ones. Thor is up here with us. I think the real Thor. I can't prove anything otherwise. First off, need your name?
My name's Randy Farrow. Actually, it's Chris Hemsworth, but it's, it's really Thor.
Chris Hemsworth is joining us. First question for you. Obviously, Phillies are 3 games away from winning the World Series. What is something that you would give up for the Phillies to win a World Championship?
Well, I'd give up my hair, and then I'd give up my hammer as well. And we need a World Series championship.
I mean, is this is signed by Thor himself?
No, this is signed by Connor Brogdon.
That's not what I was expecting at all.
I wasn't that close with Syndergaard to get signed, but he actually gave me a game ball though.
Yeah,
that's great.
All right. Now, we've been around Phillies fans the last couple of weeks. We were here for the NLCS. We're here for the World Series. It has been wild. The energy is high. We want to know what makes Phillies fans better than Astros fans.
We had the passion. We had the history, 1883 that we've been around, and we bring it. The passion, baby. Yes. Last night was the rain. Now the Phillies will bring the thunder. Yeah! Yes, baby. Out the park. Yes!
I really thought he was going to go with last night was the rain, tonight is the pain, but he didn't. But you're
Thunder
Thor.
was good too, though.
All right,
Thunder was
last
good.
question for you. Two great mascots in this series. You got the Philly Fanatic and you got Orbit. Who wins in a fight and why?
Philly Fanatic all the way. He's from Galapagos Islands, and Orbit's from outer space. So, I'm from outer space too, but Philly Fanatic will crush him with his tongue and his belly, everything. He's got all the weapons.
I appreciate you, my friend. What a great group we got here.
Yeah, you can see them in
Iron
the
Man?
outfield.
We'll bring Iron Man on in
Come
here.
on, Iron Man.
You gotta get Tony Stark in there.
All right, what's your name?
Mike
Mike.
or Tony Stark.
I love it, both of them. What makes Phillies fans better than Astros fans?
Oh man, our food. Our food is so good. It's so much better than Houston. I was actually, I had a Geno's cheesesteak earlier today. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow.
The food.
They're
makes the
fueled.
fans
They're
better.
fueled better.
Fueled. We
Okay.
get fueled by that.
All right. 3 games away from winning the World Series. What is one thing that you love that you would give up for the Phillies to win a World Series?
Oh boy.
Somebody said my wife.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that yet. I would. Oh man.
You don't have that, or you wouldn't give that up?
I wouldn't give that up, but I don't have one.
But you would if you could.
I would if I could. Yes, I would if I could. I would say candy. I would say some candy.
That's fair.
Very fair,
That's
because
big.
Halloween, got a Halloween last night. I would throw it all out. Yep.
All right. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you guys.
Thank you all for joining us. I
All right,
appreciate
who's
it.
got next? Anybody next? No, just us?
That was
I think they went away.
that
Oh,
was a lot of
wonderful.
fun. Oh my God! It was a mask. It was a mask the whole time.
Yes! Oh my God. Wait, a Phillies fan in the flesh? Come here. Alex, get in the middle here. This is Alex. This is our friend Alex. And I gotta know,
Wait, you guys are friends?
I also work at Fox.
she does. She's out here and she's a Phillies fan. Fans.
One, when our players don't play well or are cheating, we call. So there's a big difference there. But also, we're just so ride or die. We're such a blue collar town. We just love this team more than anything else. We don't have a lot else going on here. We have the history, we have the food, we have plenty of drink, but we don't have a ton else. Sports are everything. And that's why it's one of the greatest days of all time, especially when it comes to sports.
You say you love them more than anything else. What is something that you would give up to guarantee a Phillies World Series victory?
My husband is a Padres fan.
Ooh.
It didn't end in a divorce, but I love you, Zach. But I love the Phillies more.
I love that answer.
That is incredible. Okay, we also have some pretty incredible mascots matching up here.
Yes.
Orbit and the Fanatic. Who would win in a fight?
I mean, the Fanatic win against any league, any mascot. I mean, bar down. Like
It's the best mascot in sports?
It is the best mascot in sports. He is my soulmate. And again, I love my husband more than anything, but if the Fanatic came over to
I'm
me...
starting to think you
and-
don't.
He's gone. Well, he's a Padres fan, so he's gone.
I mean, you love Zach. He's a
I
great
do.
guy,
I
but...
love Zach.
the
I love
Fanatic-
Zach, too.
But the Fanatic is the best guy out there, you know? Like, anyone should leave their significant other. The Fanatic offered it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot that I'm saying.
Who's winning tonight?
The Phillies.
Done.
I'm surprised
That's
that
good.
was your answer.
It's shocking, right?
Yeah.
Alex, I love you.
Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Perfect drive-by. Yeah, we got more.
Come on, it's your turn to kill it.
We're coming in hot. Coming in hot. What are your names? What are your names?
I'm Steph.
Tracy.
Jamie. All right.
Joe.
We got everybody.
Are we doing a 4 for? Are we just gonna?
Are we
we're
all
just-
together? Is this fam?
We're going to forfeit. We're coming to you. We're not. Maynard's in Margate. Check it out. Best place ever.
Okay.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
Okay. I got to know, obviously all Phillies fans here, what makes Phillies fans better than Astros fans?
The grit. The grit. We're tough.
The
It's all about the
grind.
grit.
Passion. You never give up.
It's grit, baby. It's all grit. It's the tough stuff nobody wants to do.
All right.
This is family. This
Exactly
is family. we're like friends who have become family, and that's pretty much like Phillies fans.
I need you all to come up with a good answer here. We're going to go down the line. All right, what is one thing that you love that you would give up for the Phillies to win the World Series?
Oh, I gotta think about that. You gotta give me a second.
All right, we'll start here.
Wow. Oh my God.
Cash, lots of cash.
Work. I would give up
Lots
work.
of cash, but these are my people.
I'd give up work.
You love your work? You're giving up something you want to give up.
My winning Powerball ticket. I would give up the fucking Phillies to win a fucking World Series.
I don't even know what started happening down there, but it sounded
This was a little bit of
intense.
mayhem. Guys, thank you so much. You were awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Before we go, we got to get game predictions.
Game predictions.
Yeah.
All right. Mine in game 2 was Astros win 5-2.
Yes.
That was correct. Mine tonight, I think Ranger Suarez pitching earlier in the series is not going to make him on his game. I do think it's a lower scoring game. If you notice, the wind is blowing in, blowing inward. I think that's going to make it a lower scoring game.
Okay.
I'm going to say Astros win 4-2.
Whoa, I'm taking the Phillies tonight. I think this amped up energy from the crowd getting to move around their pitching situation is really going to help them out. I'm taking Phillies.
All right. I'm going to say, yeah. All right, that's fine. All right,
Yeah.
That does it for the pregame show presented by Perry Ellis Fragrances. Game 3 is coming up in just a few seconds. We will see you post-game. Until then, enjoy the game. Peace.
Astros and Phillies. And Philly has been perfect 5-0 at home in this postseason. We'll see if they can keep it going. But right now, time for the starting lineup introductions. To the public address announcer we go. Dan Baker, take it away.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's Houston Astros starting lineup. First, Astros manager number 12, Dusty Baker. Leading off for Houston, number 27, second baseman Jose Altuve. Batting second, number 3, shortstop Jeremy Pena. Batting third, number 44, left fielder Yordan Alvarez. Batting fourth, number 2, third baseman Alex Bregman. Batting fifth, number 30, right fielder Kyle Tucker. Batting sixth, number 10, first baseman Yuli Gurriel. Batting seventh, number 17, Astros designated hitter David Hensley. Batting eighth, number 20, center fielder Chas McCormick. Batting ninth in the bullpen, number 15, catcher Martin Maldonado. And the starting pitcher for the Astros in the bullpen, number 43, Lance McCullers Jr.
If you really wanna fall, take your fall when you're back against the wall, and I'm still going bad on you anyway. Whoa. The swing of his life! I can feel like every rest of my memories. Me and Drizzy back to back is getting scary.
Everything coming up Phillies.
In the neighborhood of Philly that I can't go. For real. DTOVO, we back again, going back.
It's gone! Punch, counter punch. Owning October!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's starting lineup for your 2022 National League champions, Philadelphia Phillies. First, the manager of the 2022 Phillies, number 59, Rob Thompson. Leading off, number 12, left fielder Kyle Schwarber. Batting second, number 17, first baseman Reese Hoskins. Batting third, in the bullpen, number 10, catcher J.G. Realmuto. Batting fourth, number 3, Phillies designated hitter, Bryce Harper. Batting fifth, number 8, right fielder, Nick Castellanos. Batting sixth, number 28, third baseman, Alec Bohm. Batting seventh, number 5, shortstop, Bryson Stott. Batting eighth, number 2, second baseman, Gene Segura. Batting ninth, number 16, center fielder Brandon Marsh. And the starting pitcher for the Phillies in the bullpen, number 55, Ranger Suarez. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022 National League champion, Philadelphia Phillies. This evening's colors are presented by all 5 branches of the military. Please welcome our all-service honor guard. Now, out of respect for our country, would you please stand and remove your hats? Veterans, please salute. Please welcome 5-time Grammy nominee, Parkwood Entertainment and Columbia Records singer-songwriter Chloe, as she sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It is Game 3 of the World Series from Philadelphia. When we return, can't wait to get going. And when we come back, Joe Davis and John Smoltz are here with the call. Enjoy Game 3 coming up.